Okay. So once again, very good evening, students. We welcome you all today's for ISO Masterclass Olympiad preparation for classes 7th and 8th. So I hope you're all ready. Yes. Okay, let me share my screen. Students, please make sure to keep your mics on mute. Anurag. Okay. So students, as I told you, so we welcome you all to the masterclass for Olympiad preparation for class 7th and 8th. So let's start with introduction. So yes, MTG. So speaking about MTG, MTG is the official academic partner of Science Olympiad Foundation. It is India's #1 educational publisher of NEET, JEE, CBSE, CUET, Olympiad exams. And MTG provides foundation course books and magazines too. So as of now, MTG works with 72 countries and 19 plus crore copies have been sold out as of now. 2.10 lakh schools and coaching centers follow MTG books as a reference copies, and 6 lakh teachers follow the MTG books as a reference for the schools. So this is about MTG, and it is the official academic partner of Science Olympiad Foundation. So students, in this master class, we are going to discuss about exam pattern for ISO exam. In case if you have already given your Olympiad exam, you might have a good idea what would be the pattern, but still we will be discussing about the exam pattern. And today's topic would be light. So we have an Olympiad expert who will be explaining the topic of light for you for today's demo session. And few Olympiad based questions from the topic. And tips. What all the tips? How you can easily solve this Olympiad level questions, because you come across different types of questions like selecting odd one out, figure based questions, statement based questions. So how easily you, if you have to maintain the speed also, and you have to crack the correct answer from the given options. So these tips also will be explained to you in this master class. So speaking about the exam schedule for 2026 to 27. So students, as you all know, aware of that. So 3 dates will be given by SOF. So one date, particular exam date will be decided and selected by your school management. So make sure to have a check of that from your school, and then you have to give your exam on that particular day. Okay? So this is complete schedule of all the subjects like GK, English, science, mathematics, all. And these details are also provided in the website of SOF, www.sofworld.org. So you can have a look of these dates. And as I told you, there will be 3 dates, out of which one date will be decided by your school. Okay. As I told you, we are going to discuss the topic of light today. So as we have an Olympiad expert, so Sri Priya ma'am, let me give a brief introduction about ma'am. So ma'am is MSc Physics. Ma'am has completed MSc Physics from Geetam University, and ma'am has completed a Master of Education from Usmania University, and she is recipient of gold medal in physics at both her undergraduate and postgraduate levels. So ma'am is expert in physics. Ma'am has received gold medal in physics also. And 8 years, total years of experience is 8 plus years. Ma'am is having 8 plus years of experience in teaching and in making science engaging for you. Concept driven and result oriented for every learner. So this is about Sri Priya ma'am, and ma'am will be taking up your regular classes who are willing to enroll with the Olympiad classes with MTG. So students, now let I give a brief idea about the pattern of a paper, like from class 5th to class 10th. This is same. So for 7th and 8th students also follow the same pattern. So we have almost 3 sections. So total number of questions asked in your exam are 50, and total marks are of 60. So 50 questions you will come across and 60 marks paper. So we have three sections. First section is logical reasoning. So in this logical reasoning, 10 questions will be asked and each question carries 1 mark. So total marks are 10. So you might have how the logical reasoning questions appears, right? So 10 questions will be there for logical reasoning. Now section 2 consists of science. Science are 35 questions. So in this 35 questions, each question carries 1 mark. So total marks are 35 for science section. Now final and important is achiever section. So there will be 5 questions asked for this achiever section, which are very important questions comes here. And each question carries 3 marks. So total marks for achiever section is 15. So overall marks are 60 and 50 questions will be asking for you. I hope this is clear, students, everyone. Okay. So I'll just stop sharing the screen now. So as I told you, we have Sri Priya ma'am with us. So ma'am will be taking up your topic for today. So students, please listen to ma'am carefully. In case if you have any doubts, you can just raise your hand or you can give your answers in the chat box also. Otherwise, you can ask your queries in the chat box. So all other queries related to the classes or the schedule, everything we will be discussing at the end. Okay. So over to you, Priya ma'am. Good evening. We can start now.
Good evening. Thank you so much for that introduction. And good evening, kids, all of you. I'm very happy to see the class is full today. All of you with so much energy attending the class. As ma'am has already introduced me, my name is Sri Priya and I'll be handling your class for physics. And today's class, what we are going to look at particularly is we are going to try and remember what we have already learned or what you all have already learned about light. Along with that, we will also come across some of the questions, the Olympiad-based questions, the type of questions which are going to be asked for you. We'll learn how to solve them. So let's see how the class is going to be, and I hope all of you are going to understand and enjoy the class today. Yes, to begin with, as I'd already mentioned, the topic what we are going to look at is light. And under light, we are going to focus on reflection of light, what exactly reflection is, and when the what are the conditions under which the reflection is going to happen, what are laws of reflection. So we're going to look at all of that. And at the same time, we come across what are the different types of reflection. We are going to look at regular and irregular reflection, laws of reflection, and how the image is going to form. That is, every time you stand in front of the mirror, you are able to see yourself in the mirror, right? And that happens due to reflection of light. Correct? So we will try to understand how exactly the image formation is happening in a plane mirror and what are the different characteristics for that. Yes? So these are all going to be the topics what we will try and understand in today's session. All throughout the session, there will be some questions I keep asking, and I encourage all of you, please use the chat box. Please give answers there. I will be watching each and every answer of yours. Yes? So let's go ahead. First, we will try to understand what exactly light is. What light is helping us with. Without light, how is it going to be? Yes? All of you who want to answer, please use the chat box and please tell me what exactly light is according to you. I'm not asking any textbook definition. Please give me your understanding. What is light? How is it helping you? And you have to be quick. Yes? Please use the chat box. I hope chat is enabled for all of you. Yes. Right. Yes, I am getting the answers. Very nice. Very good. Very good. I have Ishan and, if I'm correct, Harshit answering. I have enabled the chat for everyone. Please try to answer. All of you. All of you should be participating in the class. Very good, Saket. Very nice. Correct. Light is definitely a form of energy. And because of light, we are able to see around us, right? If the light wasn't present, it was difficult for us to sense the things around us. Light is what which enables us to see things around. Now, because it is helping us to see the things around us, light is definitely called as a form of energy. A very important thing we have to consider. Light is a form of energy which is helping us to see around. It is helping us to detect light. Yes? And when the light is going to enter through any small, let's say there is a small hole through which you are trying to allow the light to fall. There is a source of light. There is a torch. And you have a cardboard sheet cutting, which is having a small hole. You see that even through that small hole, light is going to travel. Light travels and light is going to illuminate, or you can say light spreads. It is going to light up the entire space. Correct? So from that, we also come across this point which says that the light is always going to travel in a straight line. The beam of light appears to travel in a straight line. And you also see this, right? That when we talk about light beam is also observed in your headlights. When you talk about the headlights of cars or vehicles or scooters, buses, trains, all of these are having light, and you are very clearly able to see that the beam of light is going to travel in a straight line path. Yes? So a beam of light always tries to appear to travel in a straight line. And the straight line path in which the light travels, that is going to be called as rectilinear propagation of light. This particular term is a very important term for us. Light has rectilinear propagation. What exactly rectilinear means? Rectilinear indicates the straight line. Yes, correct, Ajay. Very good, all of you. Rohan. Yes, very nice. I encourage everyone to answer. Correct. So it's a property of light, and light always travels in a straight line, which explains the rectilinear propagation of light. Very important for us. We are going to get questions on this, right? So light always travels in a straight line. Now we will try to understand reflection of light. And each and every one of you already know about reflection. I am very sure about it. Please tell me, what is reflection? What is reflection? Correct, Ishan. Yes? I'm getting answers. Very good. But please tell me, what is reflection? What is reflection of light? What is reflection of light helping us in? How is it useful to us? Where do you see reflection? Anything is fine with me. Please try to answer, everyone. Yes, Ishan. Very good. Correct, Harshit. Yes. Mishra. Abhyudaya Mishra. Yes. Ajay. Very good. Very good, all of you. All of you already know what exactly reflection is. Yes. Reflection of light. Light is going to bounce from a surface, right? When light is going to be hitting any surface, what type of a surface? A shiny surface, a polished surface. If the light is going to fall on that surface, the light rays are going to bounce and enter into the same medium. What is the medium? Medium is basically the space from which the light enters. This is the source of light. This is called the source of light. These are the terminologies what we are going to use, right? The source of light. Through the source of light, we have a beam of light falling on a surface. What type of surface? We are taking a mirror. Mirror, a shiny surface. So light goes and hits the mirror, and when that happens, the light rays are bouncing from the mirror and entering into the same medium from where the light was entering, right? Now, this bouncing of light itself is called as reflection of light. So it can be any shiny surface. You can see a shining steel plate or a shining steel spoon. Yes. Or you can see a mirror. In all these situations, you are seeing that the light is bouncing and it changes the direction of light. Definitely, because the light was incident in this manner. You could see the arrow marks here. The light was incident in this direction, and after reflection, the direction of light has changed, right? So things you have to understand in case of reflection. One, the light is bouncing into the same medium, right? Next, the direction of light is changing. So therefore, this phenomena is called as reflection of light. Correct? There will be certain terminologies what we have to learn that we will try to understand. But in the figure, you are able to see this. See, the observer cannot see the direct light from the torch at this position. And if the observer is seeing from this side, he can very well see the light which is coming from the mirror. So what is the difference here? It's just the placement from where he is trying to see the light. In this position, the reflected light rays are not reaching his eye. So therefore, he will not be able to see anything. But if the position is here, the observer is seeing the direct light which is coming from the torch because the light is entering his eye. He is actually in a position where the reflected light rays are reaching his eye. So therefore, he is actually seeing the light which is entering his eye. Yes, Anurag?
Ma'am, how does when we see through a mirror, nothing happens to the light, but how can we tell it bounces?
Light, see, you will not see the light rays, correct? You are not, even if I'm talking about the light rays which are falling from the torch onto the mirror, you are not visually seeing the light rays from the torch going and hitting the mirror. You have a tube light on in the room. You are not seeing the light rays coming and hitting you, right? Light is spreading. The reflection of light is happening. The reason why I'm saying that the reflection of light is happening is because of the formation of the image, which we will be talking about later on. The reflection of, we are saying that the light is bouncing off the surface because you're going to be seeing an image which is going to be formed later on. Yes, or there is a formation of shadow taking place. Either the given surface is completely blocking the light, either the surface is allowing the light. There are certain things which are going to happen. So when we talk about light reflecting of a surface or refracting of a surface, we are not physically seeing where if these three yellow lines are drawn, which are coming from a torch, you are not seeing the three yellow lines. You just have a torch from which the light is falling. That's it. Light goes and hits the mirror and comes back. How you are realizing that the light reflection has happened? You are realizing it because the mirror is going to form a certain kind of an image. Yes, that we will come across as we go into the next slides. Yes, Ishwari, tell me.
Ma'am, then how will we know that where the light is going to bounce or where the path of
It
it will
bounces
go?
everywhere. It bounces everywhere. As long as you are not position correct, you are not seeing the image. That's what happens, no? See, if I am sitting in a room, there is a mirror right in front of me. There is a certain position I have to stand in front of the mirror for me to actually see myself. I can't be standing at each and every corner of the room and try to see myself. I cannot see it. Can I? Can you see yourself standing at some different corner in the room and you understand that light is falling on the mirror? You are able to see other images maybe, but you can't see yourself. For you to see yourself, you need to position correctly in front of the mirror. The light rays are supposed to reach you. The light rays which are falling from you on the mirror after reflection are supposed to reach you. Only then you can see yourself. Otherwise, you'll be seeing some other object from which the reflection is happening. Yes.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes. Arnish, if I'm right. Yes, Arnish, you have something to ask? All right, correct. So that is the basic understanding of what exactly reflection is. As we go forward, more and more doubts of yours will get cleared. Now, under reflection, we will talk about two types of reflection again. That is regular and irregular reflection. Now, what is the basic difference? Regular reflection. Regular reflection is also called as you can see, it's also called as a specular reflection. Now, what exactly happens in case of regular reflection? In regular reflection, you will see there will be parallel rays of light which are incident on a surface, and after reflection also, all the light rays are going to be parallel to each other. You have a mirror surface. Light is incident on the surface, and these are parallel light rays which are hitting the surface. After reflection also, the light rays are going to be parallel to each other. Then that type of reflection is going to be called as regular reflection. You have a well-polished mirror surface, right? A well-defined image is going to be formed. That's going to be called as a regular reflection from a very polished surface. If the reflection is happening, then that is a regular reflection. You will be seeing a very clear image. No distortion, no disturbance in the image. A very clear image is going to be formed if a regular reflection takes place. But instead, if you see, there is a formation of an irregular reflection. What's an irregular reflection? An irregular reflection can be called as a diffused reflection. Right? Now, what happens in this case? In this case, the light rays after reflection, they need not be parallel. They are not they are not in the same direction. They are going to be in all possible directions because this surface is not going to be a regular surface. This surface from which the reflection happens can be an irregular surface, can be a distorted surface. So from here, the reflection is happening. So when the reflection is happening, the light rays need not be parallel to each other. They can be in different directions. Like this. The light rays after reflection, they are not parallel. If you see here, all light rays are hitting on the surface. After reflection, all of them are in the same direction and they are parallel to each other. But in case of regular reflection, they are not going to be parallel anymore. They are going to be in just all possible directions. They are not parallel to each other after reflection. So any reflection which happens through any rough surface, that's going to be an example of a diffused reflection. And in case of diffused reflection, what happens? The images are not going to be clear, right? So light rays are getting scattered. Reflected light rays are not going to be meeting at a point to form a clear or a focused image. Yes, you will not be able to see a clear image there at all. Because for an image to be forming, at least two reflected light rays are supposed to meet. Only after two reflected light rays meet, we can talk about an image formation. But in case of a diffused reflection, you do not see, because these light rays are getting scattered in all possible directions, you will not see a formation of a focused image. Therefore, that becomes a irregular reflection. So any reflection which happens through any roughed surface, that can be called as a irregular reflection. Followed? Can anyone give me an example for an irregular reflection? You can drop in the chat box, please. Yes. Okay. All right. Harshit, Ishan, very good. Yes. Shatakshi. Yes, Shatakshi. Yes, you may. Yes, yes, correct. If you are trying to see, even if you are trying to see yourself also on, let's say, a water surface, right? So the image which is going to be forming there is going to be a distorted image, not a focused image. So that is an irregular reflection because water surface is not plane. Correct. A bird standing near baby water. Correct. Correct, Shatakshi. So that can be an example of a irregular reflection. Yes, stable, unpolished metal parts. Very good. Very good, all of you. Yes, rough surfaces like stone bricks. Yes. All of these are going to give you an irregular image. Very nice, everyone. Correct. So this is how a regular reflection happens, and this is for a irregular reflection which is going to happen from roughed surfaces. Yes. Next. And one more thing. We talk about reflection by a plane mirror. Now, I told you I was giving the example of a plane mirror when I was particularly talking to you about reflection. So let's understand particularly about the plane mirror and what are the characteristics for it. So when we talk about a plane mirror is, of course, as you all know, a very flat, smooth glass surface. It is going to be polished or silvered on its back surface. So any mirror, the moment I'm talking about mirror is going to be silvered. You can see this bluish thing here. There will be silvering or blackening at the behind the mirror for the reflection to take place. If that silvering is not there, then mirror is going to be a transparent surface and the light is going to pass through it. Light will not reflect. For the light to reflect, the silvering or you can say the back surface need to be polished. That is when the light will reflect off the surface, right? So the back layer of silver or aluminium, that is what is called as the silvering of the mirror. And this layer is what is responsible for the reflection to happen. If there is no layer, light passes through it. It is going to act like a lens. It will no longer act like a mirror. Understood my point? Yes. So plane mirrors, you will see there is a silvering behind the mirror due to which reflection takes place. So you see there is an object which is present right in front of the mirror. You are here trying to see an object. What object? There is a chess coin which is placed before the mirror and you are trying to view that chess coin. You are able to see these lines here, right? I'll just put arrows with another mark. So there is a light which is falling from the chess coin on the mirror and that light is getting reflected off the mirror. The reflected light rays are reaching the eye. Whose eye? Observer's eye. Observer is here. Light which is falling from the chess coin falls on the mirror, gets reflected and reaches the eye of the observer. Now for observer, what is the direction of light? For observer, the direction of light is what defines where the object is. He is just concerned about where is the direction of light coming from. That's it. He doesn't care where the object is. For him, light is coming in this direction. So therefore, there must be an object which is placed here, right? So this is how we perceive. This is how we are seeing an image. For him, the light direction is this, the direction of the violet color or purple color, whatever color it is, I have drawn. That is the direction in which he is seeing the light. So he is actually able to see an image which is going to be forming here. There is an image which is formed of the object. So he assumes that an object is present here. But actually the object placement is not here. For him, object is here. Even though he is not aware. The person who is standing here is not aware there is a chess coin present in the front of the mirror. He is not seeing the object at all. He is just looking into the mirror and he is able to see this. So for him, this is the image which is formed behind the mirror. Right? So in whichever direction human eye receives the light, that is the direction we perceive there is something present. So this concept is called as virtuality. So this image is a virtual image. Why are we calling virtual? All of you play virtual games, right? What is the meaning of virtual? VR, virtual reality games and all of that you play. You put on those specs and you start playing games. You are not actually present in that game, but you perceive, you feel as if you are in that game. You feel it and you try to play it, right? Correct. Words are opposite. Correct. Not real, unreal. Correct. Ishan, something which is not real, can't be seen. Yes, it's not real. Virtual is not real. It is not something which is physically present. You perceive it. Your eye, your brain perceives it. Yes. So virtual image is an image which is formed, which because your brain assumes that in the direction of light, the image which your brain is going to create is going to be completely in the direction in which it is receiving the light. It just assumes that an object is placed behind the mirror. And that's how we are trying to understand the whole concept of an image. Virtual means we perceive, correct, imaginary, perfect. So there is no chess coin which is present behind the mirror. It is just the direction in which the light is reaching your human eye and brain is perceiving that there is something which is present behind the mirror and that something is a chess coin. Right? So there is no chess coin actually present behind the mirror. Therefore, we say it's a virtual image. Got it, everyone? So plane mirrors produce virtual images. Yes, that is one of the characteristics what you have to remember. Plane mirrors produce virtual images. There are other characteristics also we have to understand. But before we understand that, there are certain terms you need to be familiar with when we talk about reflection. Yes, you are already knowing all of these. You see there is something called incident ray, reflected ray, normal, angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Yes. So what exactly each one of these are? Now this is the plane mirror. All of you are able to see the plane mirror. First, we will try to understand what is incident ray. Incident ray is nothing but the light ray which is coming and falling on the surface. The light ray which is coming and falling on the surface. That light ray is going to be called as incident ray. What is a ray? All of you might have studied in math. What is a ray? Yes? Yes, Arnesh? Arnesh, I think you have an audio issue. You're speaking, but I can't hear you. Yes, Moksh?
Ma'am, a ray is a line segment with one end. Is a line with one endpoint and one direction in which it extends forever.
Correct. It's basically it is going to have a one point which is fixed on one direction. It can extend. So why are we using a ray here? We are using a ray to define the direction of light. For us, a ray is used to explain the direction in which the light is traveling. Okay, light is not traveling in form of a ray. No, a ray is something what we are trying to consider to explain the direction in which the light travels. Okay, there are different ways in which the light is going to travel that you will slowly study as you are increasing as you're going to a higher grades. For now, a ray is used to define the direction in which the light is traveling. Correct. Yes, all of you. Very good. Right? So this is the incident ray explaining the direction in which the incident light is falling on the mirror. Next, we have a reflected ray. Reflected ray is going to be the direction in which the light is going to reflect from the surface. This is the reflected ray. This becomes the direction of reflected ray. Yes? So next we have something called as a normal. Now what is this normal? Normal is going to be an imaginary line which we are going to draw to the surface, and that imaginary line is always going to be perpendicular to the surface. What is the meaning of perpendicular, kids?
Ma'am, 90 degrees to the surface always.
Correct, Arnesh. 90 degrees. Yes. So a normal is going to be a perpendicular, which is going to be drawn to the surface. And why are we doing that? This normal is going to be very, very helpful to us to identify what's going to be the angle the incident ray and the reflected ray are going to make. So this normal turns out to be the reference which is going to help us calculate angle of incidence and angle of reflection. Right? So incident ray, normal, and reflected ray. This is what we understood so far. Now we will try to understand what is angle of incidence and what is angle of reflection. Yes, what is angle of incidence now? Angle of incidence is nothing but the angle which is made between the reflected ray and the normal. This angle, what you are able to see here, this whole part. Now by now you're all aware of what exactly angles are in math. You know how to use protractor to find the angles, right? This whole thing, this is the angle which the incident ray makes with the normal. This is called angle of incidence. We use a letter I to represent the angle of incidence. Yes. Next, the angle what the reflected ray makes with the normal, this angle, this part of the angle, this is called angle of reflection, represented with R. Yes, the angle between the normal and the incident ray is called angle of incidence, and the angle between the normal and the reflected ray is called angle of reflection. Clear, everyone? Yes, very good. Next, we have a quick question here. We'll do it and then we will continue with laws of reflection. Yes, the question says, a beam of light is reflected by a new steel plate. It is an example of. All can give your answers in your chat box. I have opened the chat box. I'm looking at all your answers. Please give your answers. Please understand this. Regular, specular, everything is mentioned here. Very good, very good. Very good, all of you. I could see Melinda, Ishan Chaudhary, Ishan Jadhav, Harshit, Sitakshi. Yes, Ishwari, Saket, everyone is answering. Very good, all of you. Rohan, Samya, Jay, very nice, everyone. Yes, perfect. It is talking about a steel plate. So, steel plate explains regular reflection, a polished surface, and specular reflection also is another name for a regular reflection. Hence, we talk about the option to be both A and B. Correct, Arnesh? Thanks for explaining. Yes? Perfect. Let's continue. Another question we have. To see the shadows formed by the rays of light on a wall is due to. To see the shadows formed by the ray of light on a wall is due to. What type of motion of light? Curvilinear, rectilinear, translatory, none of this. Shadow is forming, meaning the light is not passing through. Yes? Very good. Ishwari, Harshit, Samya. Then Samya, two Samyas are there. Arnesh, Abhyudaya, Ishan, Rohan. I am looking at everyone's answer, dears. Yes, she. Correct, correct, everyone. Very good. Yes. Correct, correct. So when the light is blocked, when it is trying to travel, that is when you see a shadow is formed. So the shadows are formed on the wall is only because the straight line path of the light is blocked. So therefore, we've already seen this straight line path indicates the rectilinear motion of light. Hence option B. Perfect, everyone. Very good. Yes. Now let's talk about the laws of reflection. Anyone can quickly help me with what are laws of reflection? Anyone remembers?
Ma'am, may I tell?
May I tell?
Oh, wow. Please raise your
Ma'am,
hands.
may I tell?
Yes, Sitakshi, please go ahead.
Ma'am, the first law of reflection is that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection.
Mm-hmm.
On
Okay,
this,
let me ask Ishan for the second law. Thank you, Sitakshi. Yes, Ishan.
Yes, ma'am, the other law is that the incident ray, reflected ray, and the normal, all of them lie on the point of incidence and in the same plane.
Perfect. Very good. Ajay also has given the answer. Very nice. Thank you so much, kids. Right. So we talk about two laws of reflection. So the two laws of reflection, the first one says that whenever reflection takes place, then angle of incidence should always be equal to angle of reflection. Very, very important. And when we talk about the second law says the incident ray, normal, and the reflected ray, all of these are going to lie in the same plane, right? Whatever plane you're considering, in the same plane, X, Y, Y, Z, whichever plane you're considering, in the same plane, you are going to see the normal, incident, and reflected. If this is the plane we are considering, in the same plane, you have incident, normal, and reflected. You are not going to see that incidence and angle of reflection are in different plane and normal is in the other. Doesn't work. Yes. So firstly, if this is 30 degree, this also should be 30 degree. Only then you can say it is coming under the reflection concept. Yes. And all three of them are in the same plane. Very, very important for us. Yes. And angle of incidence and angle of reflection, both of them are measured with respect to the normal. Both of them are measured with respect to the normal. Pay attention to this. We have some questions on this, which I want you people to answer. Yes. So angle of incidence is the angle between the incident ray and the normal, and angle of reflection is the angle between the reflected ray and the normal. Clear, everyone? Till here? Yes. Perfect. Right. Now we have a question. The question says the angle between a plane mirror surface and incident ray is 30 degree. Then angle of reflection is. Then angle of reflection is. Very
Ma'am,
good.
may I say?
You can put in this, you can put in the chat box, dears. If there is any explanation, I'll particularly ask. Please understand this angle between a plane mirror surface and the incident ray. Understand very clearly. Understand, read the question clearly. All of you. I have people giving correct answers. I have people also giving me some confused answers. So please Read the question very carefully. I will ask one of you only to explain me this. Okay. Waiting just for a few more seconds for everyone to answer. Samya, please stop using your keypad so much. Once you type, I can see. Yes. And please check your answer, dear. Okay, Arnesh. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me hear it. I have few people raising your hands. Okay, let me hear it from Harshit now.
Ma'am, there is asked that the angle between the plane mirror and the incident ray is 30 degree. So the angle between the plane mirror and the angle of reflection will also be 30 degree.
Okay,
No,
all right.
ma'am, the doubt is clear.
All right. Fine. But Harshit, you're not completely right. Please read the question correct, okay? Yes. Okay, this time let me give chance to Moksh. Ishan already spoke. Yes, Moksh, please tell me.
Ma'am, the answer will be 60 degrees as we have been told that it is 30 degrees is the actually between the angle of incidence, the ray of incidence and the plane mirror, which and we have to find the angle of reflection which is the same as the angle of incidence, which is not 30 degrees. Instead it is 90 minus 30 degrees, which is 60 degrees, as the normal is perpendicular to the plane mirror.
Very good. Okay, so everyone listen up. Very good, those who have read the question perfectly. And the others also. I am very happy that you remember the law of reflection. But please read this question once again. The angle between a plane mirror surface and incident ray is 30 degree. So this is the plane mirror surface. Right? So the angle between plane mirror surface and incident ray, he had not told angle of incidence, neither had he told that it is the angle between the incident ray and normal. So you have to be very careful when you're reading the question. Angle between the plane mirror and incident ray is given to you as 30 degree. With that, he's asking you what is going to be the angle of reflection. First, figure out what is angle of incidence. Then you will say angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection, right? And how will you get angle of incidence here? How do you get? You understand that normal always makes a 90-degree angle. That's what you all said, right? Normal is going to be perpendicular, making a 90-degree angle. So normal always make 90 degree, whereas 30 degree is the angle what he already gave in the question. So the leftover angle is going to become 60 degree. So if angle of incidence is 60 degree, angle of reflection is also going to be 60 degree, right? So it's very, very important you read the question carefully. Correct, Harshit. Okay? Please be careful, everyone. Read the question carefully. Right. I hope everyone understood this. Another question here. When the incident ray is falling on the mirror along positive x-axis, then after reflection, the direction of ray is along. We have read this while we started talking about reflection, that whenever reflection happens, the direction is going to change. Correct? Correct. See, we are talking about reflection. When we are talking about reflection, the light ray is not going to pass through the mirror. It is going to bounce into the same medium. Please understand this when you are giving directions. Yes, Melinda. Satakshi, okay, no problem. You drop in a message. I will give you a chance to explain if there is any explanation question. Now type your answer. Yes, Arnesh. Rohan, yes.
No, ma'am. I raised my hand. I thought I'll explain. That's all. I'll just raise the.
Okay, Anu, yes. Very good. Few of you understood the question perfectly. Still, I see a little bit of confusion here. Anesh, would you want to explain?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
So, ma'am, in a graph, there is x-axis, y-axis, minus x-axis, and minus y-axis. X-axis is a horizontal line, and y-axis is a perpendicular line to one endpoint of the x-axis. So,
Correct.
if there is an incident ray or the meaning the real ray which is falling from a light source is on the x-axis, meaning the horizontal line, and if there is a reflection, as the light is in what can I say, rectilinear propagation, the reflection ray will also be in rectilinear propagation. So it will be 0 degrees because x-axis is 0 degrees. So if it moves along 0 degree, reflection also is in 0 degree. But because it is moving in the opposite direction of x-axis, it will be minus x-axis. So B option.
Yes. So when the light ray is incident on falling on a mirror along positive x-axis, when the reflection happens, you also know this, that it is going to be changing the direction. But it is in the same medium. So therefore, you will see the direction of ray is going to be along the negative x-axis, right? You will not, you will be using the word positive y-axis if you see the light is entering into the next medium like this, right? Only then you will talk about the y-axis. Otherwise, please don't go into the y-axis thing right now. He's very clearly talking about positive x-axis. Light is entering through positive x-axis. Then after reflection, you are going to see it along negative x-axis, right?
Yeah.
Next. Yeah. Right. So what is the angle of incidence and angle of reflection in the given figure? Please try to answer, everyone.
Ma'am, I have a
Very
doubt
good,
on
Ishan.
this one. That how should we write it in the chat box? Because there is no letter for the or variable for the
Okay, one
ray.
second, 1 second. I think options are there. Let me check. Yeah, here are the options. Yes. Very good, Ishwari. I also got, I think someone else also. Ishan, yes. Abhyudaya, yes. Right. Perfect, everyone. Yes. Very good, all of you. Correct. Yes, correct. Very good. Yes. So you all of you are very clearly you are able to see that light is falling on the surface, but it is falling perpendicular to the surface, which means it is falling along the normal. So whenever light ray falls along the normal, angle of incidence is going to be 0. If angle of incidence is 0, angle of reflection is also 0. Why angle of incidence is 0? Because angle of incidence is always the angle between the incident ray and the normal. But here the light is entering through normal in the direction of normal. So therefore, angle of incidence is 0. Right? Perfect. Now comes another question. Let's try to take this. In the given figure, two mirrors P and Q are situated at an angle of 60 degree. So you are able to see this. There is an angle 60 degree made between the two mirrors P and Q. A ray of light is incident on mirror P at an angle of 55 degree. This is an angle. This is mirror P. This is the light ray which is falling on the mirror, making an angle of 55 degree. That is the angle between the mirror and the ray. What is the value of angle A between the incident and the reflected rays if the ray again reflected by the mirror Q? What's the angle? What is the value of angle A between the incident and the reflected rays? This whole angle he's asking. If the ray again reflected by the mirror Q. Yes, I'm already getting answers, but I didn't show the options yet. Okay, no problem. Yeah, these are the options here. Please check the options and tell me what's going to be the answer, everyone. Yeah, I've given the options now. Please check the options and tell me. So the concept is almost the same. It's just that when you are applying it, be a little careful. Just give you a few moments to understand and try by yourself. Then we will continue. I will explain.
Ma'am, are those imaginary dotted lines the normal?
Yeah, the imaginary dotted lines are the normal.
Oh, then it's easier.
Imaginary dotted lines are normal. Use that normal. You will be able to identify what will be the incident and the reflected rays. Okay, okay. All right. Now let's try to just break it. I'll just talk about the angles. You tell me the answer. Okay. I'll simply talk about the angles. Now here, it is very clearly understood that the angle what the incident ray is making with the mirror is 55 degree. Okay. One quick hint I will give you. By now you all understood how to find out what's going to be the angle of incidence from this and angle of reflection from this, right? That you understood. All you have to do is 90 minus 55, you get the answer. Correct? There is one more thing I'll tell you, mainly in case of mirrors. Always you see this angle and this angle will be same. That is the angle which the incident ray makes with the plane mirror. If that is 55 degree, then the angle what the reflected ray also makes with the plane mirror will be 55 degree. You can check also yourself, right? 90 minus 55 is how much? 90 minus 55 is going to be 35. Correct? If this is 35, this also will be 35. And if this is 35, this has to be 55. So this is going to reduce your time for calculation. The angle between the incident ray and the plane mirror, angle between the reflected ray and the plane mirror, always the same. So this is 55, this is 55. What you can figure out? You can figure out this angle first. Once you get this angle, you can identify what's going to be the angle of incidence as well.
Yeah, that's 65 degrees.
Yes, and how do you get that at 65 degree?
Because total angle of a triangle is 180 degree. So 180
Perfect,
degree
correct.
minus 60 plus 50.
Correct. Total angle is 180 degree, and if you do that, you are going to just subtract 60 and 55 from 180. You do that, you're going to get the angle here as
65.
65. So this angle is going to be 65. Now, if this is 65, it is easier to understand what's going to be this angle now. Yes? What's going to be the angle here now? Quickly.
That will be 50 degrees total.
How much?
The total will be 50, but only the ray of incident or reflection would be 25.
No, he is asking only this part. When he says A, okay, see,
Only
what is the
25.
value of angle A, he said, right? Where is the angle A marked? That only you concentrate on. Angle A is marked only here, right?
That's
So
why
identify that.
option. I got
50.
confused at why everyone is writing A option.
Yeah, it's going to be, now this is 65. You do 90 minus 65, you're going to get your incident angle. So 90 minus 65 is going to be how much? 25.
25. That's what.
Correct? And this is also 25. Now 25 plus 25 is 50. Correct? Though, what is the value of angle A between the incident and reflected rays? The total thing here. Between the incident and reflected rays. 25 plus 25, 50. Option C will be your right answer. Followed everyone? Yes? Yes, I guess. Correct. Perfect. Correct. We are going to get one more question, very similar question, and I want everyone to answer that, okay? Before that, we will quickly look at what exactly images and how many types of images we have very quickly. So whenever we try to experience the formation of an image in case of a plane mirror, you are going to see that the light rays are going to be meeting at a point to form an image, right? So a copy of an object which is visible in the mirror, that's basically called as an image. And image, there are two types in which, two characteristics of an image. Image can be either real or it can be virtual. Virtual image, we have already seen the example. Virtual image is which is formed inside the mirror, in a mirror, right? And if I'm talking about real images, real images are the ones which are formed on a screen. For example, you go watch a movie, what you see on the big screen is the image, and that's the real image, which is caught on the screen. Real images are actually caught on the screen, right? And you see that the reflected light rays are actually going to meet there. there are light rays, which there is going to be projector behind. The light rays are going to reflect from there. They are going to actually meet, form an image on the big screen. You are able to see that image. That's a real image, right? Example is a movie screen, a cinema screen, or an image which is formed by a pinhole camera. They are going to be real images. What we see in a mirror, they are going to be virtual images. You will not see the light rays are actually meeting. You make them meet. You extend. You suppose that they might be meeting behind the mirror. That is the reason why I'm able to see the image behind the mirror. But they don't actually meet. You're not catching the image on the screen. It is just formed virtually behind. It's not actually there. Yes? So that's a virtual image. For real image, light rays actually meet. For virtual image, they don't meet. Okay? Now, what is the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror? Now, when we talk about plane mirror, always the example is you standing in front of a mirror. So, when you stand in front of a mirror, the image formed, of course, is going to be of same size. Whatever is your size is going to be the size of the image. Your height, your personality, exactly the same, it is going to be visible. Same size of that of the object. It's going to be erect. Standing, standing. That's it. Whichever is, there is no inverted image what you see. It's an erect image. And distance between the object and the mirror and the distance between the image and the mirror are the same. You walk closer, image will also start walking closer. You move farther away, image also moves farther away, right? So distance between the mirror and the object, distance between the mirror and the image always remains the same. And the image formed is virtual. This we have already seen. And the image formed is laterally inverted. What is the meaning of laterally inverted? You know this in mirrors. Left appears to be right, right appears to be left. That's called as lateral inversion, right? You try to hold something, let's say a badge or on a paper, just write something, stand in front of a mirror. It is going to be seen completely inverted, right? From left to right. That's what lateral inversion talks about. So this is going to be, so you see this PQ in front of the mirror appears completely inverted. Not every letter is going to be inverted. It depends upon the symmetry of that particular letter, but there is a lateral inversion taking place. Yes? And if you want to see the image formed in a mirror, it is enough that the height of the mirror is half your height. Whatever is the height of the object, half the height of the object should be the height of the mirror to form an image. That is more than enough. So light from the head, light from the toe, both are going to be reflected into the person's eye and the image is going to be formed. So it is enough if the mirror height is half the height of the person. That is one thing to understand. Second thing, if the person is moving towards, the object is moving towards the mirror with the speed of v, then the image appears to be moving with the speed of 2v. This is called as relative velocity, relative speed. We are talking about the speed of the image relative to the object. Yes? So when the object starts running towards the mirror, image also appears as if it is running towards the mirror, but with twice the speed. That is, we are trying to explain the speed of the image with respect to the speed of the object. It's going to be v minus of minus v. So therefore, it becomes v plus v and you get as a 2v. Right? When you are trying to get a relative velocity. This is also a concept you will slowly study, the concept of relative velocity. For now, understand that the image is going to be moving with twice the speed of the object. Okay? Right. What are the uses of plane mirror? You all know this very well. We are going to see it in our mirrors. They are used in kaleidoscopes, periscopes, solar cookers. In all these places, plane mirrors are used for a regular reflection to happen. Right. So let's quickly answer. Just a few questions are left. First one says, when the distance between the object and the plane mirror increases, what happens to the image? The image remains at the same position. Size of the image will become less. Distance between the image and the plane mirror also increases. Distance between the image and the plane mirror decreases. Quickly give me your answers. The distance between object and the plane mirror increases. Object is moving farther away from the plane mirror. What happens to the image? Yes, Siddhakshi. Correct.
Sorry, ma'am, by mistake I sent
It's
B
okay. It's okay.
at the
It's okay.
starting.
It's okay. It's okay. No problem. See, I already told this. The closer you are, closer is the image. Farther you are, farther is the image. Object and image distance will always remain the same, right? So if the object and mirror distance is increasing, image distance is also going to increase. Another question. How many letters appear to be different when the word German is reflected by a plane mirror? How many letters are you actually going to be seeing them as inverted here? How many letters will be actually inverted? Getting answers? Yes. Okay. Very good. Yes. Very good. Perfect, everyone. I appreciate everyone actively giving me answers. There are going to be 4 letters. M and A will not show any lateral inversion. Even if inverted also, they look the same, right? So rest of all the other letters, G, E, R and N, they are going to be laterally inverted. 4 letters. Option C. Next, we have another question here. Look at this. 2 plane mirrors are inclined at an angle of 75 degree as shown in the figure. R is 35, then X will be equal to. This is very similar to the question what we have just now done about the reflections, right? This is 35 degree given to us. He is asking you what's going to be the angle X, this part. Quickly try. Okay, I have to show you the options. 1 second. Yeah, these are the options. Please try and tell me what's going to be the answer for this question, all of you. Yes, everyone. Very good. Getting answers. Very good, Melinda. Moksh. Yes. Rohan. Yes. Ishan. Very good. Yes, Anurag. Perfect. All of you got the point. Very good. Ishan, want to quickly explain?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am. So, like very similar to the previous question. Like
Yes.
from here, we can like directly tell that angle U is equal to angle R. So we can directly say that this is also 35 degree.
Correct.
Then we use the triangle angle sum property to get that angle Y as 70 degree.
Perfect. Correct.
Then we subtract 70 from 90 to get this angle as 20, and so X also equals 20.
Perfect. Correct. Very good. Yes, exactly the same concept what we already used. If R is 35, U has to be 35. Then use the triangle property to identify the angle Y. So subtract 35 and 75 from 180. You're going to get it as 70 for Y. Once you get 70, because there is a normal, 90 minus 70 gives you a 20. That gives you the angle of whatever angle that is 20. Then that clearly gives you that X is also going to be 20. Yes, just the same calculation what I told here is mentioned to you here in the slide. I hope everyone understood, and whoever has answered me, you have answered me correct. I appreciate everyone. Yes, answer is going to be 20 degrees. I hope all of this is clear to you. Anyone has any doubts? Has everyone understood here? Yes? All right. Okay, then that would be the end of the questions part and the concepts part, what we had to do for today's session with respect to light. I appreciate each of you for actively answering and participating in the class. This is how a classroom environment should be. Thank you so much. And right now, Rekha ma'am has something else to speak to you. So over to Rekha ma'am, please.
Thank you, Priya ma'am. Thank you so much for this wonderful session. I hope students, you have benefited a lot from this. So you have got a good idea like how the topic would be explained in our classes and what kind of questions will you be getting for the Olympiads. So I hope everything is understood for you all? Yes. So, TK. So students, now the pattern of questions was explained by ma'am to you, how to apply the knowledge, and answering questions with speed. You have to maintain that speed accuracy also to, crack the correct answer, right? Okay. So, ma'am, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So students, as you have attended NSO demo session today, that is ISO, which is changed. Initially, it was NSO, National Science Olympiad, but it is recently changed to International Science Olympiad, that is ISO, right? So we have upcoming free demo sessions for English and logical reasoning also. So you also please can join those demo sessions, and you can benefit from this by knowing what all the content, like how the classes will be running. So you can attend this demo session for English. English demo session is scheduled for 7th and 8th students on 21st of April at 4 to 5 p.m. You can note down this date, or else we keep sharing this for you again in the groups. And for LR, we have on 7th May at 4 to 5 p.m. Okay? So these two demos, you can also, it's a free demo session. You can join these demo sessions too. Clear, everyone? Yes. Ma'am, can we go to the next slide? Yes. So now students, speaking about our live batch schedule for class 7th and 8th. So there is an error in the live batch schedule for grades 4 and 5. You please ignore this. But anyway, course, we have ISO class 7 and ISO class 8. ISO class 7, we usually there are 28 sessions, and the days of these classes are scheduled on Mondays and Thursdays. And classes are commencing from 23rd of April and ends on 28th of July. And the timings for class 7 would be at 6:15 to 7:15 p.m. So 7th standard students, the timings for the classes would be at 6:15 to 7:15 on Mondays and Thursdays. And 8th class students, 8th standard, 30 sessions will be there for this 8th standard students. And the same days, the classes are scheduled on the same days on Mondays and Thursdays. And starting date is 23rd April and ending date is 4th of August. And the timings for class 8 is at 7:30 to 8:30. Clear, everyone? So 8 students, you have class at 7:30 to 8:30, and 7th standard students will have 6:15 to 7:15. Now let me give importance of this course, the highlights of this course. So how Priya ma'am has explained you about the topic of light today. So in the same way, all the concepts of all the topics in your syllabus will be explained as per the SOF pattern. And after each and every class, students will be getting an assignment in the student portal app. It is an LMS. So the students, whoever enrolls with MTG classes, we will be providing you student portal. So once you log in into this portal, you will be getting an assignment after each and every class. And you also will be getting weekly test. So we will be providing weekly test also on the weekend, and topic wise worksheets also will be provided for you. So apart from the live classes, you are going to get benefit of all this. So this will be available in the portal. And students, we will be having a live doubts solving session also. Once few topics are covered, explained by the teacher, in between we will be having doubt sessions, whereas complete 1 hour of session will be discussed and cleared with the doubts only. So whatever you have doubts, you can keep sharing us, so that teacher will take up those doubts in that particular doubt session. So we have a course of a doubt session also in between. And as I told you already about the LMS access. So after each and every class, how you get the assignment, in the same way, recordings also will be uploaded in the portal, and PDF content also will be available. So this will be access for the complete 1 year, even though your course completes on particular dates, still you will be having an access till 1 year to have a look of the recordings and the class content also. Got it? Clear? And students, one important, so whoever have attended the demo, whoever have taken this demo session for today, in case if you are willing to enroll for the classes, you have a special 10% of discount for today. So this is a coupon code you can apply directly in the website in case if you wanted to enroll for the classes, and this is applicable for today. This is a special 10% discount code which is on the screen. You can directly use this coupon code and you can enroll for the classes, right? So students, ma'am, can you please change the slide? So students, in case if you have any queries, the team has already shared you a Google form in the chat box. You can fill that Google form, so our team will get in touch with that. Otherwise, you can call or WhatsApp to the numbers, helpline numbers provided here. The helpline numbers will be available from morning 9 to evening 6 from Monday to Friday. So in case if you have any queries, you can call directly or you can WhatsApp to the particular numbers. Or else you can also mail to the mail ID which is provided, mtgonlineclass@mtg.in. So in case if you have any queries, you can call or you can WhatsApp us or you can mail us. This is all about the demo session, students, and I hope everyone benefited from this demo session, and thank you each and everyone for joining and making it an interactive and wonderful demo session. Thank you, Priya ma'am.